Welcome to the Wellness Insights podcast presented by Be Pain Free Global, hosted by the Jordan brothers. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Shaun, and we're going to be talking about sleep today. We'll be trying to find some good methods that, talk about the things that have worked for us in the past and things we might be interested in trying. And hopefully we can give you some ideas as well. It's kind of two brothers on a journey to get some more wellness in our lives.
Yeah, and some good sleep.
And some
Because
good sleep.
I don't know about everybody here. I mean, you wouldn't be here unless you were looking for some tips on how to get some good sleep, but we're always looking for tips too. So
Yeah,
depending
there might be.
on it, go ahead, man.
I was going to say there might be stuff in here that we haven't even tried yet. So I know there's a couple things I saw that I'm interested in checking
Yeah,
out.
and also depending on what medium you're listening to our podcast on, definitely leave us some kind of comments on, suggestions on what you do to get sleep, because everybody's different. Some things work for others and not for others. So
Yeah.
maybe you got some tricks, some nuggets of wisdom that might work.
Or hear some things that we talk about that just you've tried over and over again and just don't seem to work that great for you. I personally, I like chamomile, but it doesn't really make me sleep, but it helps other people. So
Yeah,
be interesting to hear some of
I'm a
that.
big rain person. I like to listen to some rain or ocean sounds.
Yeah, some white noise is good, but I do think, let's see here. Is there anything we wanted to go over before we went on?
Yeah. So just to give you guys an idea about who we are, we're, Shaun and Nathan from Be Pain Free Global Customer Support. And you might have talked to us on the phone. You might even recognize our voice and mixes up with each other. It's like
That does happen on occasion.
there's them brothers that, work for Be Pain Free that are giving us calls and stuff. That's us. And we're going to be talking about today specifically, mostly about sleep. So, we plan on doing a monthly podcast and kind of delve into wellness insights and ways you can improve your life. And you know, now it's important to know that we're not, you know, we're not healthcare professionals or anything. We do have a disclaimer as well. Shaun and Nathan share insights based on their personal experiences and are not offering medical advice. Please consult with your healthcare professionals and conduct your own research to ensure any recommendations are appropriate for you. Because we're
Yeah.
just regular people, looking for what's good for us, just like everyone else, and we just want to share what we've learned.
Educational and entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. We'll try to be entertaining for y'all.
Yeah.
So
And
this,
definitely give us feedback. Let us know how we're doing, and give us other. We're always up for hearing ideas on things to talk about, and definitely let us know if this is something you want to hear more of this in the future.
yeah, well, moving along here, as we said a few times, this month's topic is sleep. So definitely talk about it because this is a podcast, Shaun. Why, why getting good sleep is important to us? Well,
Oh
you know,
man, well I tell you what, there have been a lot of times that if I don't get a good night's rest, I don't just wake up kind of impaired a little, not being able to move as fast or think as much as normal, just a little slow and logy. But I mean, I could even not eat as healthy that day. I don't feel motivated to exercise. It just all kind of. It seems like the whole day just stems from that good night's rest.
yeah.
Um,
And like you just, you know, you have the energy, of course, to, take on things, and you don't, with me, if I get sleep, uh, I get things done. But if I don't get sleep, I procrastinate. And I'm like, well, I could
yeah,
do it tomorrow when I've gotten better sleep. But we're
yeah, and
definitely
that's
going to delve into some simple things that you could do, to help get you that quality sleep. And I'm sure we both tried it ourselves, most of these things. So we could definitely speak to, personal experience on them. So what were you going to say, brother? I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good, man. I was just gonna say one of the things that I've really kind of valued lately is a sleep schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, Sleep hygiene is really important. A lot of people think it's just getting your 8 hours, just trying to get your 8 hours in. But I really noticed it's a lot more difficult to get that 8 hours in if I'm not going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, or both.
Yeah.
Like I gotta remind myself to start winding down and getting to bed by 10 or 11 and try to be out of bed by 5 or 6.
Yeah. Cause you
That's just
do
that's gonna
like
be
me. Sometimes I would, you know, I'd go to bed really late, sleep until like noon, and then you're not going to go to bed on time if you've had sleep very recently like that. So it's definitely a big one for sure.
yeah, it's and if you can't, it seems like if you can't, like let's say you don't fall asleep until midnight or 1. I
Yeah.
still shoot for waking up at the same time at least. And it'll make the next day a little more exhausting, but you get through it and you're definitely falling asleep on time.
Oh yeah.
And you just wake up better the next day. You just try to hold that. Timing is key with sleep.
And something else too that sleep hygiene affects is like how you can, like, if you're not sleeping at the right times every day, then you're not eating at consistent
Yeah.
intervals as well. So, you know,
I've
which,
heard it said too that it does mess with your inhibitions too. So
yeah,
yeah, you wake up late and you might be like, oh well, this is lunch then,
yeah,
and then dinner you comes around dinner time, and then it's about time to go to bed, and you're like, you know what, I didn't eat breakfast. I'm gonna have me a big snack.
yeah, yeah. I got to make up for all this lost time.
Yeah, crawl on to bed with a big bucket of popcorn or something. Not that I've ever done that.
No, no. Uh,
No.
but yeah, watching your diet's a big thing. And I think a cutoff time on when you're supposed to stop eating, that benefits me when I can practice it, because eating pretty late, your body's still, working, you know, it,
Yeah,
it
your
takes a
heart
lot
rate.
of calories to burn food, from what I
It does, yeah.
understand. So,
And your heart rate stays elevated when you're digesting, and your body temperature goes up.
yeah,
And it's good to stay cool when you're trying to sleep. It's also, I mean, I know there's been times that I have me a lot of spaghetti, or me and a couple pizzas or something. I don't know.
this is a wellness podcast, Sean.
Hey,
Don't talk about eating.
I'm talking about in the past. I'm
Yeah,
growing.
yeah,
Not,
that's what we're all about. Is
yeah, you
we've
mess
learned,
up.
yeah, we learned our lesson about it. But yeah,
Yeah, because I don't do that anymore, man. I can't. Like if I eat 2 hours before bed, that's good.
yeah,
If I eat a lot of food, Thanksgiving dinner scenario, I
hmm
think would be the one most people identify with. I can't do that.
yeah. And
Uh, you know,
Thanksgiving, your blood sugar probably goes haywire, and then you crash out, take a nap, and then stay up all night. It's just a mess.
yeah, and I think that was, you know, don't go to bed too hungry either, though.
Yeah,
I think some people, especially if you're on a diet, you're trying to lose a lot of weight, and you go all day, you hardly eat anything, and then you go and lay down. Some people can't sleep if their stomach's growling.
yeah,
But there's a point of moderation there. 2 hours before bed, your stomach shouldn't be growling. But if it
yeah,
is,
and
some slow digesting protein would probably be a good idea, I figure.
yeah, maybe like get some good idea from like a dietitian on what kind of foods would be
Oh yeah.
conducive to a good sleep hygiene.
Oh
Um,
yes.
like I bet some foods will have like more like magnesium in it. Magnesium, from what I understand, helps you sleep better too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, just as an example. But also, setting the ambience and environment is something like I was talking about a minute ago. The like listening to rain and
Oh yeah.
you know, like what are some things that like you do or you've read up on since we were doing the research for this that you think would be
Uh,
good?
I've done a lot of personal research over the years, just trying to get some sleep, and
Yeah.
you get like some really nice. There's some really nice white noise generators out there. Like this one I have that lets you mix different sounds, like
Oh,
rain, and
the
you
ocean.
could. Yeah, there was this one I mixed the rain on a tent, a campfire, and the ocean, and it felt like I was just sleeping in a tent on the beach by a fire.
Oh wow.
And then about 4 hours later, someone come down the beach and said, "Hey, put that fire out." It woke me up. No, but like the white noise, and it could even just be white noise, just like static.
Yeah.
And there's different types of static, and
Frequencies as well. Like
hmm what are
and
the ones
I
you know? Those off the top of your head, don't you? Some
it,
of them.
well, I got them on a playlist, so I'll have to
Yeah,
take a look at that sometime. And then I wasn't prepared to do that. I'm sorry, man.
different hertz. No, you're good.
Yeah,
It's
it's different hertz, and also I've heard like even the color of the light in the room because
hmm
there's some things to blue light like that's what most screens you know which we probably are going to touch on that eventually in this podcast, but screen time, reducing that is shown to help a little bit as well, I think.
Yeah, I think, and don't quote me. I'm not a sleep expert, but I have come across it. Uh, the blue lights kind of mimic sunlight, and it tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, so you don't. It
Yeah.
throws off the melatonin in your brain, and then there's the dopamine you get from clicking everything and flipping around, and
And
it's just
also you
overstimulation.
could watch, you could be reading the news before bed and cause you
Oh
some
yeah,
stress a little bit, which is
yeah.
another one is managing stress is, key. So don't subject yourself to undue stress, and, don't create scenarios in your head that cause you to go into that fight or flight, and you'll definitely not be able to get to sleep if you think you're in danger in some way, or if you're very stressed out. I mean, obviously there's stress that you can't prevent, so definitely don't
Yeah.
give yourself stress. So
Yeah, it's not the time. Bedtime is not the time to think about that weird thing you might have said at the grocery store to that random person.
or the time that you came to school with a sock hanging out your shoe in sixth grade and
Yeah.
everybody was, I mean, that's embarrassing, but yeah, you don't you don't want to talk about
That's
that.
never happened to us,
Not
It's
me. But
theoretically speaking.
it was a big
Yeah.
old sock too, man. Phew. It was one of them football
On them
socks.
footballs. Yeah, I remember them. I
But
know.
yeah, speaking of football, exercise, man. That
Yeah,
is
dude.
that's good for you, for a good sleep hygiene. I keep wanting to
Oh
say
yeah.
a good sleep hygiene diet.
It's your sleep diet.
Yeah, here's your sleep
Yeah, we're talking
diet.
about it's a good sleep dieting habits.
But
Yeah, exercise.
I
Oh,
mean,
you
I don't
got some. I'm
know.
sorry.
I was going to ask you. I don't know for sure if like is it because it makes you so tired you want to go to sleep, or does it do something to
I
you?
I think along those lines, like I said, and I'll say this a lot, but I'm not an expert, but it's it seems to me like you're when you kind of sit around a lot, you have a lot of energy build up,
Yeah,
and a lot of time it manifests as anxiety and that hyper fight or flight, you know,
yeah.
uh, you're in your head, the energy's got to go somewhere. And then when you exercise, it kind of balances out. I actually recently heard about a study that was talking about how we all, people the same size have the same metabolism, regardless of how much activity they do. It just kind of balances out,
Hmm. That's interesting.
depending on your activities. Yeah. But when you first start, you're definitely just, it seems like tired. You're
Yeah,
just wearing yourself out. But eventually it starts helping other things like your oxygen uptake and
Oh yeah.
helping you digest food, and your aches and pains start going away, because if you're doing resistance training, it helps with bone density and supporting your skeleton a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, and stretching is another really good one just before bed.
Oh yeah.
Like doing static stretching,
It make you feel
yoga.
good when you cuddle up and you're all nice and limber, you know. Just
Yeah,
get
I
up.
hate that.
Or
I
you
hate
go
that
to
when you go
bed
to
and your
bed and you're
back is
cramping.
stiff and you're
Yeah,
hanging off the side of the bed and you're like, oh, this is terrible.
yeah. Your back can get real uncomfortable real quick.
So you did the research on the 10-3-2-1 sleep rule. Have you tried that, or have you thought about, like, do you do that automatically sometimes without even knowing, or?
Some of these some of the 10-3-2-1. Do you want to just kind of recap it real quick, and then I'll touch on it, my
Yeah,
experience
so
with it.
the 10 hours before bed, no caffeine after that. 3 hours before bed, no more food or drink. And then 2 hours before bed, no more work. 1 hour before bed, no more screen time. And zero number of times you hit the snooze button.
Yeah, see, a couple of those I already kind of do.
Mm,
I'm just kind of stimulant sensitive, so I drink all of my coffee in the morning.
yeah.
I usually stop drinking coffee by 10 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And then snooze, when you're using a screen reader, it's actually a lot harder to get your snooze to work the way you want it to anyway. So I
Mm-hmm.
just gave up on it and turned it off.
Well, I tell
So
you,
that
dude,
was
I'll
very
tell you a
fortunate.
trick on how to
How
there's
about
a
don't tell me about
no, there's a
that?
but sometimes you can push the button on the side and it'll do.
I
No, we
know.
don't
I don't
want
want to
to.
know about that.
No Zoom, no Zoom. This is snooze buttons for
No,
anybody. We're going
no.
0 times you hit that button.
Yeah, and the 3 hours before bed, don't eat. That's a really hard one for me. I like me some food.
Yeah,
I usually get the 2 hours. Um, and depending on what work I'm doing, that's about normal.
yeah.
2 hours, because it gives you time to wind down.
What about that screen time, Shaun?
Well, that screen time, I figure don't count for me. No, I'm just, no, it's
uh,
like, I, where I don't have to really worry about the light necessarily. I do change my content viewing.
yeah,
So I switch from heavy stuff to, I put on some stand up. I put on some, some of my standby shows that I can watch for 1,000 times and already have.
you know, it'd be the
Uh,
perfect thing to listen to before bed
what's
is
that?
a podcast about sleep wellness. So,
Oh yeah. Hey, you should
especially,
do that.
yeah, I'm gonna listen to this podcast before I go to bed just to make sure I don't sound dumb or something.
Well, let's make sure in the middle of it we put someone going, Nathan, wake
Yeah,
up.
wake up. Goodness. So there's other sleep concepts we were researching. I mean, that Shaun researched this time. So, but you had the 30-90 rule you were wanting to talk about. And that's a guideline for taking a good nap without feeling groggy afterward.
Hmm.
In states that naps should last 30 minutes or less, or be at least 90 minutes long in order to improve physical health and cognitive performance.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the REM sleep cycle. It starts, I believe, around the 30-minute.
Yeah.
So if you get deeper than REM, you really need to finish your sleep cycle. And the
Yeah.
sleep cycle lasts an hour and a half or 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and the coffee, I know we haven't gotten here yet, but a
There
coffee
you
nap,
go.
which is, it's kind of an extension to it, really works best in the 20 to 30 minute. So before you hit that REM sleep,
Yeah. I
it
know
kind of
I've done
almost,
that before myself, and it's
it's
like
good, ain't it?
you're like Superman when you wake up for a little bit. Oh, and I heard about well, maybe talking about caffeine's not good for sleep hygiene.
Well, I
But
mean, I guess it depends on the person. There are some
yeah,
people that drink caffeine get sleepy, but they usually have a
yeah, and if you avoid drinking it after, a certain hour, then it's not too bad for you.
yeah.
But
You want to like if you're waking up at 6 in the morning, going to bed at 10, you want to stop around 3
yeah,
at least. That's what it's looked like for me anyway.
and splitting up your sleep, so segmented sleeping. I've heard about people that are polyphasic sleepers, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
interested in that, seeing what. But it's a little hard to do that if you're on a work schedule too, because I mean, I guess you could take a nap right after work, but I don't know how
You know,
you'd have to customize it to your schedule.
yeah, and it would. I mean, if you were working from like you set your own hours and you worked from home,
Yeah.
and then there are some countries that it's in the culture to take a nap.
Oh yeah.
So those
If you
cultures they
don't take a
probably
nap
stay
at
up
work,
later.
you wasn't working hard enough.
That's that would be a good policy. Tip
Yeah.
and top, I'd be down with that. But the 20-minute nap, like
Yeah.
I don't want to go through. I deal with sleep inertia really bad, so I don't really nap if I
Yeah.
can avoid it.
Because you wake
I
up and
can't.
you're like, I'm done now. I'm gonna have to go back to bed.
Yeah, I'll go to take a nap at 1, and I'll wake up at 4 and go back. I want to go back to bed.
Yeah. So like, I know we both are into like natural stuff, and supplements. When you put together this list, I was pretty like, there's some that are like, yeah, I know melatonin, obviously, and you see valerian root near it on the shelf. Let's see,
There's also a lot of
magnesium.
sleep aids that have all these in them. Valerian root is.
Yeah,
Um, I said it right that
yeah,
time.
valerian root. Yeah.
Okay.
But chamomile, that one is like, yeah, I get that
I
one.
didn't know that German chamomile was the one that everyone drank, the most common one, it
Huh.
seems like,
Or maybe that
until I
is
did
the
this
only
list.
chamomile. I don't know.
It might be.
Now there was obviously some that might be a little bit heavier, like that you would probably need to. You really should consult a physician before trying any of these. I mean,
Especially if you're on medications,
yeah.
you don't, yeah, that might counteract with it, or
And
some
magnesium,
people are allergic.
yeah, it's like it's an electrolyte, and I don't know if you could have too much magnesium. I wouldn't know. But I know that keeping a balance of electrolytes and water in your body is important. So
Yeah,
definitely
there's
need
like
to consult your doctor about that.
there's dosing guidelines, but if you're on there are even certain medications I believe, and don't quote me on that, but I think there's like blood pressure medicines you're not
Mm,
supposed to take magnesium with,
yeah.
but a
And
lot of these are really mild, or
yeah.
fairly mild.
But I didn't know ashwagandha was a sleep aid. I thought it was like a just an appetite suppressant. That's all I thought it was. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it has this. I don't remember the exact biological pathways, but it has this effect where it can amp you up and chill you out at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's it's really good for hormone balance. It's mostly seems like people use it for testosterone, but you know I come across it with sleep. I've taken it
Yeah.
before. For me personally, it didn't do anything for sleep,
Yeah.
and I took it first thing in the morning.
Wow.
So you'd think it would make me tired, but it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Everybody works different.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, passion flower doesn't do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Uh, I've had the tea. I have dry vaporized it. You can use it in a dryer vaporizer.
Yeah.
Uh, Same with lavender. Lavender is a little better, like especially if you're using it like aromatherapy,
Yeah.
and that's a kind of different application for each thing. Like chamomile essential oils in a bathtub makes me sleepy.
Yeah, like
but drinking the tea don't.
I see this list, like what I want to do with it is just keep it and then, segment it and do some research on each one because they're definitely interesting. I wanted to know about kava. Um,
That can make your tongue numb. Kava can.
yeah, and help with your stomach, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's kind of like a topical anesthetic
Yeah,
a little bit. It's not like, you know, it's not like lidocaine or anything, but
yeah,
it definitely seems to have some kind of like some numbing properties. Let me see through here though. And the hops is a good one.
yeah,
Hops makes me nice and sleepy. They actually, that's one of the things. I mean, alcohol generally where it's a depressant, some people will use it for sleep, but a lot of the people that it seems like use alcohol for sleep that I've run across are drinking beer, and a lot of the beer has hops in it. And
yeah,
it makes me wonder because you can actually buy hops water. They make the stuff that they'd ferment
yeah.
and then bottle it before they ferment it, and that's supposed to be really good for sleep. That makes me wonder if that's not what people are getting
From the beer,
as
but
something.
they're also
Yeah,
getting the bad stuff as, yeah,
exactly. Because alcohol can actually disrupt your sleeping patterns. It can keep you in that like out of REM
yeah.
and
You'll
out of
wake
deep
up and not
sleep, and you're
even have
just
a dream,
and you think you slept all night just because you were blacked out.
yeah. Well, we're kind of getting close to the end here of the podcast. And we'd like to take this opportunity to let y'all know that, as part of being a viewer of this podcast, we have an exclusive coupon code for you. And that code is Wellness Insights, all one word. It will take 18% off your order. And it should be everything, but there are some exclusions. So it cannot be combined with other coupon codes or discounted items. So things that are, in the
Clearance
clearance
or
section. And some vendor items may be excluded as well. So the way you can tell that is when you're at checkout, the items that are reduced are, eligible. And then, if they're not reduced, then you can ask us and, just to make sure, but most likely it's not a part of the campaign. But, we want to thank you by giving you this coupon code, and hopefully, you can benefit from some, products that you haven't tried before. And, we got a few sleep aid products on the site that might be good for you to try, if Shaun could give us some of his expertise on the CBN and the watermelon wedges.
well, yeah, and for that, I think they are talking about 20% off of sleep related items.
Yeah.
There should be a banner. Uh, was it between the 16th
Yeah. And the
of
16th
September?
of next month. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a banner at the top of the site that'll kind of show you what products those are. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah.
Uh,
These are two separate things, just to be clear. The coupon
yeah,
code.
the
Yeah.
18% off
Yeah.
is a thank you for listening to the podcast, and then the 20% off is on select products, so it'll already be marked down.
Yeah. I should have been more clear. I apologize to everyone. But
That's all right. You
yeah,
good?
but what do you, can you explain to me like you did before about the CBN drops? Because I like the way you explain the CBN, like the
Well,
what the altnoid it is and all that.
CBN, it's a cannabinoid that's most commonly found in indica strains. This is why a lot of indica flower, indica vapes, gummies just make you really sleepy. The THC can help with relieving stress and calming you down. Easing pain is generally, it seems like, the most common reason for THC to be helpful with aiding in sleep. And then you got the other cannabinoids like CBD. That's just good for calming anxiety and inflammation, things like that. But the CBN really targets that, causes you to be drowsy and
Yeah.
really like you feel like you're cozy and you're going to be sleeping in. Is
Yeah.
what it feels like. You climb into bed and it's like, man, let's get this sleep thing going.
Let me wrap up like a sleep burrito and just
Yeah.
cuddle the day away. Do we
Nice
all
and
agree?
warm and cozy.
Yeah. And then indica,
Now,
yeah.
the CBN, like the CBN tincture, it's full spectrum. So there is some of those other cannabinoids in there, like a little bit of THC and a little CBD. Uh, and it's also a live resin tincture, I believe.
Yeah, so
So
definitely practice the dose. So like, start off small and build your way up.
drops, not droppers,
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah. I made that mistake. I took a whole dropper and the way it led to some hijinks for me. But yeah, you just one drop should do it for most people, right?
I like to say 2 to 4
Okay.
to start, just to be safe. Drops though, like,
Yeah. Yep.
and then ease your way up because everybody's different. And then some people that are used to falling asleep using THC
Uh-huh.
might want a higher dose or to
Yeah.
couple it with a smaller dose THC edible. It seems like um,
So the
there is.
CBN drops in the watermelon wedges would pair well then technically.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you take a because the watermelon gummies are 25 milligrams THC with indica terpenes.
Yeah.
So you got like your linalool and some myrcene and things like that in there that are generally associated with indica strains.
Yeah.
You take half of one of those or a whole one, depending on your THC tolerance, and a few drops off that CBN.
Yeah.
You're probably in for a pretty good night's rest. I
Yeah.
would say too, just like as a bit of advice on dosing for some people, if you're THC sensitive, like you take a couple hits off a bowl and you know it's too much. I would recommend, if you're going to use anything full spectrum that has THC in it or anything like that, to take it a couple hours before you go to bed,
So you're
just
like
so you can get a handle on how things feel before you lay down.
you ease into the you know, the apex of it.
Yeah, or even like, let's say it's a weekend and you're planning on going to bed at like 11. Maybe the first time, dose at 7, just
Yeah.
so you can see what the whole thing feels like. So I remember one time it was one of the first times I was experimenting with THC for sleep, and I took way too much. I laid down and I fell asleep on my own, and then I woke up and I was overly medicated,
Yeah,
and I
that's what
couldn't
happened to
tell
me
if I
with the
was still.
CBN.
I thought I was dreaming still. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and everyone's different. So some people might be able to take an edible and go right to bed and sleep through the night. Some people might need more time. Some people even work better coming down and going to bed.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say you're just using indica. You use indica like a few hours before bed, maybe say an indica vape, or you take a watermelon gummy. You don't got nothing to do the rest of the evening, and you take it at 5.
Yeah.
You're on your way down by the time it's bedtime, and that can help some people too. So it's really about experimenting. But these, for your dosing and your schedule, but these products have been generally shown to really help most people with sleep. Things like this, the CBN drops and indica strains, like, and the indica gummies, things like
Yeah.
that.
And with the discounts and the sale, both, separate occasions, you can, give this stuff a try, with a discount. And, if it's not for you, then it's not, too big of a hit. And
Yeah,
it's good to try. Like we also got some daily deals going on, so you can branch out from your regular stuff to see what works for you in other arenas besides sleep. So,
Yeah, I didn't think, I had my set budget and I didn't know, well, tinctures might be something that would work for me.
yeah,
I just always used flour
yeah,
or vape. And then I tried tinctures the first time. I was glad I did, man. Like
mm-hmm.
it's always good to try all the different methods, where possible. But if you got your own favorite method, there's something there for you in the indica category.
Definitely. Well, we definitely thank you all for joining us today, and this was really fun. I had a good time for sure.
I did too, man.
Yeah,
And I'm looking forward to the next one. And we'll, hopefully we'll get some comments from everybody. And you guys enjoyed it. And I don't know, man.
yeah.
Stay well.
Well, thank you again. Everyone have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.